Hello students, in previous classes I discussed about perceptrons, then representational power of perceptron. I have illustrated how exactly the perceptron performs the task. Then also I discussed about perceptron training rule in yesterday's class, right? So today I am going to discuss the next concept, which is an important concept, that is gradient descent and the delta rule. So this concept is very important here. Even though the perceptron rule finds a successful weight vector when the training examples are linearly separable, so it can fail to coverage if the examples are not linearly separable. Yes, in yesterday's class I discussed about this point, that is the perceptron failed to coverage if the examples are not linearly separable. And also this I have illustrated by taking an example and some formulas also, right? Okay, the next training rule, that is the second training rule, which is known as delta rule. So delta rule is designed to overcome this difficulty. Here, if the training examples are not linearly separable, then the delta rule converges toward a best fit approximation to the target concept. Here, the key idea behind the delta rule is to use gradient descent to search the hypothesis space of possible weight vectors to find the weights that best fit the training examples. So this rule is very important because the gradient descent provides the basis for the backpropagation algorithm, which can learn networks with many interconnected units. And it is also important because the gradient descent can serve as the basis for learning algorithms that must search through the hypothesis spaces containing many different types of continuously parameterized hypotheses. Here, the delta training rule is best understood by considering the task of training an unthresholded perception, that is a linear unit for which the output O, which is given by this formula here, that is the output O is equal to W naught plus W1 x1 plus up to W1 action. So this is what the vector representation of this output, that is O of x bar equal to W, yeah, vector dot x vector. So this is arrow mark indicate vector representation, right? So here the output is represented as O of x vector is equal to W vector dot x vector. W represent weight and x is the input. So linear unit correspond to the first stage of a perceptron without the threshold. Means with respect to this representation, we can conclude that a linear unit correspond to the first stage of a perceptron without threshold. So in order to derive a weight training rule for linear units, let us begin by specifying a measure for training error of a hypothesis. It means that in order to derive a weight learning rule for linear units, let us begin by specifying a measure for the training error of a hypothesis. So training error of a hypothesis is also known as weight vector. It is also known as weight vector. So this training error of a hypothesis is relative to the training examples. Although there are many ways to define this error, one common measure that will turn out to be especially convenient. So this is what the one way or one common measure that will turn out to be more convenient. That is E of W vector is equal to 1 by 2 summation of TD minus OD square, where a small d belongs to capital D. Here capital D is the set of training examples. TD is the target output for the training example D. So small d represent the training example, capital D represent the set of training examples, where TD represent target output for the training example, and OD. So this OD represent the output of the linear unit for the training example D, small d, right? So by this definition, that is by the definition of E of W vector. So by the definition of E of W vector is simply half the squared difference between the target output TD and the linear unit output OD, which is summed over all the training examples. Here we categorize capital E as a function of W vector because the linear unit output O, it depends on this weight vector. Of course, capital E also depends on a particular set of training examples, but we assume these are the fixed during training. So we do not bother to write a capital E as an explicit function of all these. And in the later chapters, there is a Bayesian justification for choosing this particular definition of capital E. So that we'll understand in the later chapters. Here in particular, there we show that under certain conditions, the hypothesis that minimize capital E is also the most probable hypothesis in H given the training data. So this is all about gradient descent and the delta rule. I hope the concept is clear, right? The next important concept is visualizing the hypothesis space. Now let us see how exactly the hypothesis space is visualized, or how exactly the hypothesis space looks like. So to understand the gradient descent algorithm, it is very helpful to visualize the entire hypothesis space of possible weight vectors and their associated E values, that is a capital E values, as it is illustrated in the next figure, right? Here, as you can see this figure, here the axis W0 and W1, it represent possible values for the two weights of a simple linear unit. Here the W0 W1 plane means this particular plane, you can see this horizontal plane, that is W0 W1. So this plane represent the entire hypothesis space, and the vertical axis indicates the error E. So this you can see vertical axis. So vertical axis, it indicates error E, which is relative to some fixed set of training examples. Here the error space which is shown in this figure, means the error space which is shown in this figure is summarizes the desirability of every weight vector in the hypothesis space. That is, we desire a hypothesis with minimum error, right? Here, given the way in which we choose to define capital E for the linear units, so this error surface must always be parabolic with a single global minimum. As you can see, this shape is a kind of parabolic here, right? So given the way in which we choose to define capital E for linear units, this error surface must always be parabolic with a single global minimum. Here the specific parabola will depend on a particular set of training examples. Means this particular parabola, it depends upon a particular set of training examples. So this figure represents the error of different hypotheses. So for a linear unit with two weights, the hypothesis space H is W0, W1 plane, and the vertical axis indicates the error of corresponding weight vector hypothesis, which is relative to a fixed set of training examples. Here the error shows the negated gradient at one particular point, which will indicate the direction in the W0 W1 plane, producing a steepest descent along the error space. That is what the illustration of this figure. Here the gradient descent search determines a weight vector that minimizes capital E by starting with an arbitrary initial weight vector, then repeatedly modifying it in small steps. So at each step, the weight vector is altered in the direction that produces the steepest descent along the error surface, which is depicted in this figure. So this process continues until the global minimum error is reached. So this is what the visualizing the hypothesis space. Here I have also shown some other hypothesis space representation. So almost most of the hypothesis space look like the parabolas or parabolic space, like this. So basically these parabolas, they will indicate or they will represent the error surface. So this is all about gradient descent and the delta rule, and visualizing the hypothesis space. Thank you very much.